and so people can understand who you are and whether you can be trusted or not on the interview. So, a lot of people out there are skeptical of, especially UFO people that have all these outrageous stories. So I'll leave it to you to explain a wee bit about yourself.
Sure, Paul. I'm skeptical as well. I mean, that's kind of what I do, as in my job for MUFON. I'm chief investigator in Los Angeles, and we do have the largest number of UFO reports, not only in the country of North America, but in the entire world. Now, some of that is probably because we're crazy California here, of course. And yeah, that probably plays into it some, and I get some contactees, and it felt like my mom was very dissatisfied with her life.
Yeah.
That she had some idea of what her life is going to be like, and it hadn't gone that way at all.
All right.
Betty Grace Anderson.
And have any kids?
She was originally her name was, when she began her work, for Howard Hughes, which I'm guessing you will probably bring up. My mom was Howard Hughes' personal secretary.
Yeah.
Back in the 1950s. Howard Hughes had two secretaries. He married one of them, and my mom married my dad.
Oh, that's good.
Yes,
it's good he's got two secretaries. He must have lots of money.
So anyhow, but at this point, Howard Hughes was a recluse. He was very, very influential. He was aerospace at the time. It was just aero, but apparently there was more space involved than we've been led to believe. So my mom, when I was a child, she had the first memory I have of this is my mom talking to me when I was probably about 5 or 6 years old. And it was sort of out of the blue. I think that maybe John Glenn had just done his flight or something. And I was very excited. I was always excited about space, Paul. It's always been
hang on. I think we got a motorbike outside.
About my mom. She and I'm not even sure how she got the job. She worked as a deputy sheriff in Muscatine, Iowa when she was young. For some reason, people liked my mom. She was an influential person. Everybody loved my mom. If you met her, it was like, oh, she's really interesting. I like her, And people would tend to tell her things. They would talk just off the cuff to my mom.
Yeah.
Everybody did that. I did that.
Yeah.
I was her son, and I miss her so much. I love her. I love my mom so much. Just a quality person. But Howard Hughes had picked her for one of his two personal secretaries. And at this point, he was a recluse, and he had an assignment he sent my mom out on. My mom first told me about this when I was just a little kid. I was like out of kindergarten. And she started talking about it. And she kept talking about it for a few years. I think that she thought I was safe. I think she thought I would forget about it, but I didn't forget about it. It was like, wow, my mom, So what she said was that she went out to the desert. She didn't specify which desert. She didn't say that she flew there. Las Vegas is close. Edwards is close. It's right up here in Lancaster area,
What's this with, hang on, was this with Howard Hughes that she flew out to the desert?
She either drove out there, she didn't say whether she flew or drove. I don't know. She
because
didn't
you talk about in the article about the German scientist, von Braun.
Yes. Well, that's up ahead.
Yeah. So she actually carried on with that guy as well. Is that what you're saying? Both of them.
I don't know. My mom claimed that she knew Werner von Braun. That he had a pet name for her. He called her Betty Grace, which was her first and her middle name.
So you're not sure if the desert was through him or Howard Hughes?
No, it was through Howard Hughes. It was all through Hughes Aircraft.
So would Howard Hughes have been to this desert underground base?
He sent my mom there because he was not going anywhere at that point. He was a recluse. He was a shut-in.
Yeah, he didn't OCD personality.
Yes, he talked to my mom through an intercom.
Yep.
Carry on. What really hit me as a child, and still hits me now as an old man of 59 years old, is that my mom said that he sent her out to a deep underground base. It was in the middle of the desert. Now, she didn't tell me how she got there. She didn't tell me which desert it was. I've talked about this at length with my friend Jeff Krause, who's the state director of California for MUFON.
Yep.
I've talked with everybody about this, a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think I've talked with Bruce McAfee. I've talked with a few people,
It's the sort of thing you wouldn't forget, though.
Yeah. I've gotten other little gleanings from strange people that you would never guess that you get them from, just random.
Right.
Oh, my grandfather worked in Area 51.
Yeah.
They did have yellow umbrellas in the cafe.
Right. Yeah.
But my mom said that she went out to the desert, that they took her to a shack. It was just, she called it a shack. I don't know, I don't know what that means, but she said that we went in and there was an elevator. It was an Otis elevator.
Yeah.
She specified that. She said that the door opened, we stepped in, and it went down.
Yeah.
And it went down, and it kept going down.
Right.
And she started getting scared because this thing kept, you could feel the inertia of it going down. And she didn't say it was a mile under the ground, but she alluded to that. And that was, it took at least a minute to get where she was going.
Yeah.
So she stood there, and the doors opened up. She was with a few security personnel. The doors opened up, and she said that there was a little city under there. That was what she called it. She said that it was a little city under the desert.
It does sound like a sci-fi, doesn't it?
I know.
Yeah.
And I heard this when I was, it must have been 1963, 64, the first time. I remember because, I was a little kid. I watched the Jetsons. I watched the Flintstones, the Great Gazoo.
So what age was that? What age?
I was probably 5 or so.
Okay.
And she kept talking about it off and on.
Right.
And she would talk about, we would go down this elevator, we'd open up and they would take us in a golf cart. And there were movie theaters, there was a drugstore, there was a guy who would actually do my hair, is what my mom told me. She said,
we call them hairdressers over here.
Yeah. She had a hairdresser a mile under the desert.
Yeah.
And she said that it was a little city down there, that there was a cafe that we would go to. They had sun lamps, and that there were yellow umbrellas over the tables.
Right.
And that they really tried to make it seem like it was just very normal, but of course it wasn't.
No.
And the best that I could get from her, as far as what she was doing down there, because that's what I still want to know, I have ideas.
Yeah, I don't
but
blame you.
She said that they were working on esoteric projects.
Yeah.
Esoteric projects. And I heard about this until maybe age 8.
You might want to explain what that means to some other people out there. I suppose that black projects.
They were working on black government projects. When I look at that, I think about, Corso, Philip Corso.
Yeah.
As messed up as he was, I think there was a kernel of truth in there,
Yeah.
And it very much aligned with some of the stuff that my mom said. I've met other people who's, I know one woman whose grandfather worked at Area 51. She said, there were yellow umbrellas over the table.
So that sort of confirms
They had a French cafe.
Mm.
They had a French cafe. You could order wine or champagne. You could kick back, and it was just like being on top of the earth,
Yeah.
But there they were under the desert, a mile under. My mom claimed that she knew Werner von Braun.
Yeah.
That he was a very nice man, she said. He was charming.
But how did she actually meet him? Was it underground or?
I don't know.
She didn't
I
say.
wish I knew. She never explained it.
So she might have been taken along to a presentation and met him there, you see. And he might have been talking about UFOs or aliens or something.
Probably. I mean, my mom knew about aliens.
Mm.
Now, when she wasn't talking about the underground base, because she never talked about aliens and the underground base.
Yeah.
There were two different things she would talk about. She would talk about the underground base. She would talk about Werner von Braun. Apparently, she met, John Glenn at one point. She said, "Oh, he hurt his back in the bathtub. I couldn't believe it. It was horrible. They were going to ground him." And, she knew all this stuff, and then she would clam up. And the older I got, the less she talked.
Yeah.
And when I was in 4th grade, I was about 9 years old at that point, I did a little show and tell at school. They were asking, "Well, what do your parents do?" And I said, "Well, my dad is a landscaper."
Yeah.
And he rolls sod, and he makes, he puts in sprinkler systems and stuff. And my mom, she worked for Howard Hughes.
Yeah.
And she worked at an underground military base that was in the middle of the desert. And, it's like the teacher kind of stopped me, and they called my mom. They called my parents in, but my mom went in. And my mom is who went in.
Yeah.
And I guess she did some fast talking. Everybody looked at me strange after that. The UFO books disappeared from the school library, by the way.
Yeah.
Because my mom talked about UFOs too. She said that it was a very real phenomenon.
Yeah.
My mom, I grew up knowing that we had made contact with aliens.
Mm.
My mom said that it happened a long time ago. She said that, we know all, we know all that. The public doesn't know it. We know all that. It's.
Did you know that they're abducting people?
She didn't ever say that.
No.
My aunt around 1968 brought the Look magazine that had the synopsis of the Betty and Barney Hill abduction to our house. It was it was right after Christmas, actually, because we all had Christmas presents. I think I had like the Lost in Space set, We're playing with all our stuff. And my mom and my aunt were having this heated argument. My aunt brought the magazine, and she was asking my mom, "Well, what do you think of this?" And my mom said, "Well, that sounds like it could be valid. I mean, there are extraterrestrial," she didn't use that word. She used something, prosaic, like space people, but she said there are people that are not from the Earth that we have met, and this could actually be a valid thing. My mom, I don't think my mom knew. At that point, she was not working for Hughes. She stopped working for him in 1958 when I was born.
Right.
But she seemed to have a handle on the information. It pissed my aunt off righteously. And my cousins and I were like ears glued to the door. I just couldn't do it.
Well, as you said, that if you're religious, also you tend to not to believe it, and
sure,
it conflicts with their religious views. And
my mom wasn't religious. My dad was.
Oh, right.
So she had to tailor things for Dad.
Okay.
I sort of shed that skin.
Yeah.
And I started asking her questions again, and her questions became more tailored to me and more measured. But she did tell me, it's like I started taking her to movies. I tried to get her to talk. I tried to get her to talk. I wanted to know more. So, and she had security clearances. And I found out, later on that she kept her security clearance until the day she died. She never lost her security clearance.
But she don't have a badge?
Very high.
You don't have a badge or paperwork of any kind?
No, there was none of that.
So you didn't have to wear a name tag saying...
She was able to make one phone call and get my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law